here. So let's continue. I would like to call Mr. Maxwell. Bwana Maxwell, nataka ni kuhand over ino session, so wewe ndio utajua unaita nani na nani mpaka tumalize ino session. Alafu hiyo height na mimi hapa nitakaa tu. Utaniazirisha Bwana Maxwell. Karibu sana. Naomba sanitize.
MC usiogope.
Ladies, tall, dark, and huge. Handsome wakuna.
Siku hizi hatujali na sura, mfuko nitaongea. I think it's still morning. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. From where I come from, the moment a day starts, anything goes. The reason why I'm here, I'm supposed to lead a session for presentation. Before we went for break, we had a breakaway session for the principals, deans, AFOs, and the student leaders. Now, every other thing that you had at that particular point, or every other information that you discussed, will be presented at this particular forum. We are going to go using this particular protocol. The principals will come first. The chairman from the principals session will make a presentation. Chairman or secretary, I believe you sat and discussed who is supposed to present. After that, we will get a presenter from the deans of students, registrars, breakaway session, then the AFOs, and finally the student leaders. I'll give you 10 minutes for the particular presentation. Questions will be raised later after these particular presentations have been done. So already the chair is set. May I invite the presenter for the principal's breakaway session. Oh. So then you're not looking at that. I didn't know that it was like white. This is the whole universe.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm Soy Rosemary, principal from Kimasian TVC in Kericho County. I'll do a brief presentation on some of the agendas that we looked at. We had 3 issues to talk about. That is the resource mobilization, retention of trainees, and areas of concern that we need to be improved. Then we have the money collected, managed prudently to win confidence of contributors and to enhance continuous contribution to the kitty. We also suggested that help to seek partnership with county governments, CDF, so that within their annual financial budgets, they have some percentage to cater for TVET trainees from their counties or constituency respectively. But this money, once it is collected, it is given to HELB to manage it, and it becomes a revolving fund. Then we also proposed that HELB should enhance its partnership with government agencies like Kenya Revenue Authority, NSSF, pension scheme, mobile like Safaricom, banks, to trace loan defaulters, and also come up with modalities how they are going to help them trace the defaulters and also recover the money, because some of these defaulters, they have bank accounts, they have KRA numbers, they also contributors to NSSF and pension schemes. So these government agencies can be used to trace them and recover the money that they owe Higher Education Loans Board. We also propose that HELB to broaden its partnership with CATI. This is our TVET, CATI, Association of Technical Teachers. CATI, sorry. And it was like CATI, together with HELB, to partner, conduct a funds drive, and whatever money is collected is given HELB to manage, and it also becomes a revolving fund. And that one should only support TVET trainees who are needy. We also mandated ourselves to do more sensitization to our trainees. We sensitize them, telling them that this HELB money is not just money, it is a loan. Once you're given, use it, let it pay your school fees, let it pay your exam fee. Once you complete, think on how you can refund it so that it supports another needy trainee. We are also mandated to instill some moral values in them so that they may realize the need to repay the money to help another needy trainee. We also propose that HELB to reach out the government to soften its policies on outsourcing of funds externally, that is from foreign countries, so that HELB can reach foreign friends, which we believe it's very possible, and get money to loan out. We also propose that TVET institutions to establish and strengthen income-generating activities, that is the production units, so that certain percentage generated from IGA to be given to HELB as a revolving fund to support the contributors, trainees from the contributing institutions. And of course, it also becomes a revolving fund. Then on trainees retention, we propose that HELB should come up with a projected enrollment annually. And that statistics, they should use it to come up with their budget to support TVET. So that when you talk of a projected enrollment of 300,000 in a particular year, they request from the government money that is adequate to support the 300,000 TVET trainees. Then there was also a proposal that HELB portal should be open continuously, because some of our institutions, especially the TVCs, we admit in January, May, and September. So if it is continuous, even retention rate will be also high in our institution. Then there's also a proposal that HELB to have a schedule for reimbursing funds to our institutions, instead of having it come in small batches. So, and it was proposed that let it be appropriately at the beginning of every term. Like if we are opening in January, then the funds should be released to our accounts in January, and May, and of course in September. Then there was also a proposal that upon completion of a course, say 2 years or 3 years, trainees should be given 1 extra year loan to help that trainee jumpstart his life, maybe to procure a toolkit or something like that. Like I know in diploma, they are given the first loan and 2 subsequent loans. So we were requesting, let us have the 4th subsequent loan to help that particular graduate start life outside by procuring maybe a toolkit, something like that. Then we also proposed that, we also requested that HELB to do more of sensitization by using the social media. Some of our graduates are very active in the social media, and you'll always find them there, and we believe you have their details. So as you are chatting, or maybe you are creating a platform, I don't know how you're going to do it, but kindly engage some of these students on the social media. Defaulters I'm sure even the loan defaulters are also active on the social media. So you can also find them on the social media. Then there was also a request. We wanted to know at what stage can we be assured money from HELB is coming so that we soften our stand on our trainees, because at times we admit or we register for exam based on information from HELB. And we were told if we receive a batch number, it means money is just around the corner. We can admit or we can allow that trainee to be in college. Or if we see the student has received an SMS saying his loan status is verified, then it means there's money will come, but it might delay. So it is upon us to decide how to, whether to accept the student to be in college or otherwise. Then we also looked at areas of improvement. We were advised, going by the MOU that we signed between our institutions and HELB, to refund any overpayment. If we don't, somebody somewhere can sue us. I don't want to mention who. We can be sued. And we also proposed that HELB to create a flexible mode of repayment, especially for our BOG staff. Some of them earn meager salaries, and we were told that one is very possible. It has happened, and it can also happen for those who have not reached out to HELB to redact their staff salaries. Then there was, under areas of improvement again, there was also a proposal that HELB reschedule their disbursement period. I think this one came out twice. HELB to reschedule the disbursement period to be in line with our opening calendars. That is January, May, and September. I hope I have not forgotten anything. If I have, maybe remind me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, presenter from the Principals and Deputy Principals Forum. Let me hope you haven't forgotten anything and you have expressed everything. You are from Kericho County, Chemasil. Kimasian. Okay. That name is more of like a name that I grew up with. Don't worry. Now we will invite the presenter for the Air Force breakaway session. The deans have said they are still taking their time because whatever they have is heavy. In Kenya, we have people who are used to saying that what I have, I cannot say now. It is serious. So also the deans are saying whatever they're having is serious. They cannot present it now, but they'll present it after the efforts. Okay, there's somebody to introduce him. Karibu.
Good afternoon, team. So we had the finance officers team, and when we were in the session, we were doing question and answer. So I have Moses from Kisiwa Technical. He'll be sharing what we had for finance officers. It has both the questions and the responses we gave. There are about 14 issues. Thank you. Yeah, we are projecting it on the screen shortly.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is CPA Fuamba Moses Sangura from Kisiwa Technical. I'm the finance officer. So we had our highlights. We had 14 issues, which I am going to take a very short time to go through. So issue number one, they raised the issue about timelines of HELB disbursements as soon as the application has been done, so that there can be a way we know the status of students other than an endless wait. So we had response to the same. So HELB institution portal is now available so that the students are not denied booking of exam, yet the status of allocation is available on the portal. The second response on the same, HELB also awaits money from the treasury, so as much allocation has been done, they await communicating to efforts when there is a delay. That means sometimes team from HELB is unable to communicate because they await the allocation from the exchequer. Number two, the students who had applied during COVID to be advised. I think this issue has been around. There was communication with students, and still they are coming. So it also was raised in our discussion. So the response was the financial 2020-2021, were communicated for they will not get loans, but were advised to reapply for the same since there was budget cuts then. And they have since applied and were given priority in the financial year 2021-2022. The third issue, the disbursement list to be copied to finance officers other than just to admin emails so that we can disperse to the students timely. Some finance officers are not getting this list. I think they communicate to the deans and the registrars, so it is posing some difficulty to some finance officers. But they have been advised by the team, they make use of the portal so that they can access this list, so that they can update their records timely. Number four, how to handle the HELB refunds for students who transfer to other institutions. Here they have not cleared from the institution. So I think the policy in the MOU is clear. We are supposed to reroute the money back to HELB so that they can do the necessary to reroute either to the student based on the circumstances that will be prevailing. Number five was a small institution that do not have internal audit function. They're asking how will they go about risk management. So they were advised by our internal auditor, CPA Justice, that they are supposed to use the available staff to do that work, because you can't go beyond what you cannot get. Number six, the issue of students having an alert that they have already gotten help, yet finance officers are not aware. So HELB pays first, then they release the communication to the students. Also they said we keep on in touch with our relationship officers so that we can get the precise communication to these students. Number seven, for students moving from artisan to a higher level, and they have had unutilized funds, how do we go about it? So we were advised, one, when a student is moving from maybe artisan certificate to diploma, they are supposed, as per the MOU, they are supposed to give help 5 times. So for the first one, they are supposed to be given 1, certificate twice, then the diploma level twice. Sorry. Number 8, a separate list for student subsistence from students, because some inquire from the finance officers. So we have some students who've been asking the finance officers whether their money for subsidies were given out or not. So we were requesting from HELB if they can give a separate list for subsidies so that we can be in a position to respond to these students and help them, because some of them are unable to inquire from the banks. So the response was they say they will share first of all, they will get the authority to share the list with us so that we can advise these students. Number 9, the issue of smart cards. I think this is the issue that was around some times back, and as the finance officers, we felt that it failed, because personally I spent some money to pay some bank, but I did not got value for money. So we were advised that there's a plan that we have one of the, I think Safaricom, there's something going on. There's a plan for it. We had the issue of receipts. I think this is the issue about our refunds. When we do refund to HELB, we were requesting that we get our receipts so that we can also support our payments. So they advised us that they have been sending to the official emails that we registered with them, and also we can get advice or get assistance from our liaison officers. Number 11, issue of transfer of loans to students who are siblings. So I think CBA Justice advised us that these people are not minors and everybody is treated independently. So we are supposed to reroute money back to HELB, and this other student can apply as a separate person instead of transferring to a brother or a sister. Then number 12, dates of lists in the portal. I think we were told the best thing here to check is the batch number. That is the unique identifier that we are supposed to base on when handling these issues for students. Number 13 was the issue of employer portal inputting process. So we were advised to use employer number when uploading the list to the portal. That will enable, I think, HELB to do everything automatically from their end. HELB desk at Huduma Center, one member raised the issue, and the team promised us that they are going to forward the issue if it will be cost effective for them to put staff in that area. Thank you very much for listening to me.
On a lighter note, finance officers usually take their time. He has taken less than 10 minutes. Let us clap for him. The next group that will come on board are the deans of students and registrars. I'm wondering why the AFO was introduced and Madam Haku introduced. Nauliza tu. Naambiwa ni kujipanga kwa timu. Oh. Madam ameniambia haizi kuja hapa mpaka somebody who equals my stature introduces her. I hope we are already seeing the trend of the presentations. both from the institutional point of view. We have seen from the inputs of the principals. We are also seeing from the inputs of the finance officers. Now we have the deans. That is now where the deans are usually student number one. In the institution, they deal with the welfare of the students. They deal basically with their security, their health, their finances, how they live, the experiences that they get in the institution. So that is why I'm saying that they are student number one. And now that is why whatever they are going to be saying here will be very important, and also will give you a reflection of how the student feels. Even as, as our trainees are also coming to do their presentation, you will understand that that is now where, how the shoe fits. Bwana MC, huwa tunasema mwenye amevaa viatu ndiye anajua penye namfinya, si ndio? Hiyo ni Kiswahili sanifu. Nimesema Kiswahili sanifu? Ngumu ama rahisi? Hiyo ni Kiswahili rahisi. Sawa sawa. Na ngoja Bwana Aquila Sakuje. Who is presenting you, madam? No, madam. Oh. Yes, I'm the chair of that particular group, but how do I praise my own partner? Sinajua kitu kizuri. Now, let me introduce her. Sawa. Now, from the Dean's breakaway session, we have Madam Secretary. I was the chairman, Mr. Maxwell. I'll let her introduce herself because just as John, I'll say that I'm not befitting to tie her shoelaces. So she'll introduce herself before she gives the input for that particular session. Karibu, Madam.
Yes, good afternoon, members. Yes, Mr. Chairman, as he has said, he has introduced us. He's also a dean. He has not said that, or a registrar. A dean. The way he speaks is surely a dean, I think you can tell, based on how he is able to articulate matters and handle the students. My name is Elizabeth Wamboi from Limuru TVC. I'm the acting dean in the institution. I stand here as a secretary on behalf of the deans. One of the things I noticed was that when you were told to remain, almost half of these seats were full of deans and registrars. I think a majority of the people here are the deans and the registrars. And for that matter, we had quite a number of issues, around 31 points. I'm waiting for our coordinators to project them on the screen. But as we wait, I have heard some of them have been handled and spoken by our principals and also the finance officers. I can start with one because I was in the session. Thank you very much. So the very first one was we request HELB to regularly do sensitization to students and people in different regions in order for our students to understand what the HELB loan is about. Somebody pointed out amongst us that, for example, in the Western region, if you tell a student to take a loan, they know that's the beginning of poverty. Watakuja wachotwe. Meaning somebody will come and carry their cows if they don't pay the loan. So from that, having suggested that, the first recommendation was that HELB can have a calendar that you communicate to schools will be coming to Western in this time, so that we can also coordinate our calendars in order to welcome you when you come. Another thing that was suggested on the same point was, as institutions, when you know you have sessions whereby all the students are coming for that meeting, you can invite HELB officials. Just communicate with your relationship officer or whoever you communicate with, and they can come and also have a small session and talk to the students. The next one was students who transition from one level to another and they choose to continue with their studies, how do they receive their disbursement? As Dean of Students, we found ourselves a case whereby a student finished artisan, they got their loan and they now want to go to certificate and they need another loan. How can they do that? What HELB told us is they can come up with as part of the portal whereby they'll be allowing students to upload a result slip to clearly show you have completed your studies and now you want a loan for the next period, and they will be allowing it. Because normally a HELB loan goes for 4 years, or at max I think it's 4 years based on universities, but they are willing to put a provision should they come up with a student who went to artisan 1 year, after 2 years they are taking certificate, after 3 years they need the diploma. But the disclaimer they'll put is we can always upload a result slip to prove that this student has not deferred. They are now continuing, they need a loan for the next stage. The next one was for people who are in remote areas. I've had the finance officers point on this. Can students receive their money on M-Pesa? And what came out clearly is HELB, they have a partnership that it's upcoming with Safaricom. They don't have a name for the product yet, and that is in the works. But one thing that was very clear is kindly do not send the money for school fees to an M-Pesa account. That is just for HELB, we can just say here officially, let the money that has been coming to school come the way it has come. It's doing very well. But let it not come through M-Pesa. So the other question was, students keep on asking us, where do we get an advocate to sign for us? Is it a must? So that we came and asked that question on behalf of our students, and it's come out very clearly that taking a HELB loan is a contract, so we cannot do away with having the advocate's signature. That's a process that continue. What schools can do is come up probably with different suggestions and ways in which they can ease the process for the student. For example, our able chairman suggested that probably you can gather your students, talk to an advocate on behalf of the students, get a negotiated rate. Instead of them being charged 500 per form, you can get a feedback on defective application directly communicated to schools. It has come out clearly that it's only students who get information of how the process has gone. Have they received a loan? Will they receive, did the form, the way they entered, have a problem? HELB has communicated that from now on, they are opening up the system to institutions. So I think that one will be well handled. As schools and as deans and as registrars, we are able to look and see this student had this issue. If it's a small issue, we can quickly tell them to change it and ensure they receive their loan. The next one was first-time applicants with issues on form. What should a student do? It's your very first time to enter. So what the students can do is to once they get their communication via the SMS and email on the defective forms, they can be quickly shared with the deans. I think that one is just on the same point about communication, because I think that's one of the major issues. There's a communication breakdown between HELB and institutions on whether their students are receiving the loan or not. What is the problem? Is it solvable? It will be solved in that way. For KTTC has a special unique case. KTTC trainers are employed directly as trainers with the government, majority of them. Can they receive a special HELB program? For that one, HELB clearly says that those on pedagogy and the employed have a product that is upcoming that will cater for their tuition. So HELB will engage them on sensitization, and once they can start taking the loan. So next one. Currently we have students allocated funds but not yet dispersed. What will happen as now exams are about to begin? This speaks to the current situation. I think majority of us, I don't know who has received all the disbursement. So what HELB says on this is that allocations and disbursements will be done subject to availability of funds. I think what they are telling us in short, there are no funds for now. HELB. We pray you get help, you get your funds, because I think there's a problem currently as we speak. This speaks to the current situation. Exams are just about to begin and funds have not yet been received. Next one is for remote areas, is there a place HELB can receive forms directly to avoid delivery delays at Huduma centers? So institutions that can continue submitting their forms through the approved channels, the Huduma centers and HQ. Where challenges exist, institutions to communicate in time for follow-up. So I think for that one, HELB, I don't know if that is adequate support, but let's hope so, that once you feel forms are delaying and people are not receiving their funds due to delays, it can be quickly picked up. I think this one speaks to us as institutions. Let's keep on talking to our relationship officers. Did you receive the forms? So that they can clearly know the delay is not on our side. What are the mechanisms of appeal when an application is not successful? The applicants are enabled to initiate loan reviews or appeals, subject to the availability of funds. Dean of Students can also recommend cases for loan reviews for needy cases. This applies whereby you have a student, you can clearly see the loan amount they received is not enough for one or two reasons. Their HELB has graciously agreed that as deans, if you can review your student and see this is a needy case, they can be able to get a review upwards and receive more. Because we get cases whereby one of us was sharing, a student comes and cries in your office, please, I only received 5,000. Another one whom you know is able is walking around buying a woofer. So for that purpose, that is the leeway that is coming in. When a student transfers, how can HELB shorten the funds redirection period? Can the institutions be allowed to transfer amongst themselves? To hasten the process of refunding and to help for rerouting, HELB will come up with a means in which they can see that, because we have noticed, especially if your student transferred, you have received students, funds are yet to come. That is being worked on. I think for that one, HELB kindly look at how you can fasten that. Can HELB have a step that asks if a student wants to transfer institutions to ensure redirection of funds when transfer occurs? This is a recommendation we are giving to HELB. That's one of the things that can help them. Have a step in the system that a student can be able to tick, I have transferred. That way HELB can quickly know these students we need to redirect their funds as opposed to sending to the first institution. So HELB will receive an SSQ loan application process via their mobile app to allow the students to do that. Can HELB forms be shorter and not require an advocate? I think that one we have discussed. So they look at their forms, see what has been repeated, and review them to be shorter. Because we were speaking, there's a place, the chairman was indicating, the student signs 5 times, the parent 4 times, and the advocate 3 times. We have caught the system in our minds. So maybe the forms can be shorter where possible. Can a portal be opened for needy students? This one will be subject to availability funds. Okay, and then can adverts on opening of the portals be done in mass? This one we were talking about, for example, how the waiver advert has moved all over the nation. I think everyone, everywhere is speaking about it. Can also, when the portals are opened, be communicated in the same way to ensure no one misses out. So HELB will work with institutions for the special needs of sensitization. Can disbursement of the fee and the upkeep monies be done at the same time? By this we mean you find a case whereby HELB has disbursed money directly to the students, the one for upkeep earlier, before they have disbursed the one for the school fees. So somebody was mentioning a student had bought a radio and they had music in their room, but they had not paid any fee. So you wonder, this student, are you still in school? Are you in the hostel singing? We don't have any fee from you. So what happens in that case? So they are saying that disbursement will be done as per the opening dates going forward. Because that is a request. Let us just start with the school fees. Let their upkeep be coming if it's a matter of limitation of funds. The next one is, can a portal opening be timed with the TVET calendars? I think that one has been spoken to by the principals also. Yes, but it will be subject to the availability of funds. That was the response. Can guardians also be receiving messages on disbursement of the student's loan? And the response was the contract is between the student and the HELB. The reason you are saying this is we have sometimes parents walking in, they are not aware that their children received any money because the child is very clever. Bado anaitisha school fees kwa sababu mzazi hajajua amepata HELB. So it was just a request, but it has clearly come out the contract is with the student. Sasa we just hope the students will be honest and parents will be able to trust them more. But we really get those cases. Mzazi hajui, but the child is now very rich in two ways, from the parent, from HELB, and from other means. Can HELB communicate to institutions when they will disperse? This has been happening. All officers concerned will be looped in. So for us, I think that's just a summary of everything, and those are the concerns that we have been receiving on our desk and we'd like addressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, for taking more than the allocated time. You've taken an extra 4 minutes, and that 4 minutes has been utilized because the information you've given at that particular point is deep. That is what I can say. One question that arose was, unaenda hostel, ama unaenda kufanya inspection penye wanafunzi wanaishi, unasikia hufa inachapa ngoma, kuna hii ngoma wamependa Friday ya sherehe, alafu kirudi kuangalia fee, unapata principal anakungoja anakwambia, why is it that your students are not paying the fee? The deficit is so high. Lakini kwa hostel wanafunzi wanacheza nini? Hufa. The best part about that is because in the next group that we are calling, the trainees themselves are coming here. Maybe they can answer that question first, that what happens? Is it the Hufa? Bani? Yes. Now I invite the presenter for the trainees breakaway session to come on board and give their presentations. I also had a time I talked to a few of them. There's another question that was coming up. A situation whereby you have gotten all the funds, but at the end of the day, you don't pass your exams. Hiyo swali sijui sasa unaweza jibu from which other side. I believe atakuwa introduced here pia, si ndio? Right? It's a very powerful team. Let me give them their moment.
Thank you. Asante sana kwa nafasi hii. Kwa mara ya kwanza niruhusu nizungumze kwa lugha ya Kiswahili. Nataka niwe tofauti na wengine. Mimi naitwa Omandi Bran. Mimi ndio kiongozi wa wanafunzi chuo cha Ekerubo Gietai, Nyamira County. Kutoka upande wetu tumeweza kuzungumza vile vile kwa mapana na marefu, na kwa uwezo wetu ningeomba kwa heshima kuu nimruhusu katibu ili aweze kuzungumza kwa undani yale ambao pia sisi tumezungumzia. Kwa hivyo katibu, tafadhali nakupa nafasi hii. Asante sana.
Thank you so much. Nashukuru sana kupata hii nafasi. Naitwa Okedi Emily Masakuru, mwanafunzi kutoka Okame Technical and Vocational College. I'm the Secretary General. Okay. Kwa niaba ya wanafunzi, viongozi ambao tumekutana leo, tumeweza kuzungumzia baadhi ya maneno na tukapata mambo yafuatayo. Ya kwanza, tulizungumzia about repayment ya loan. About repayment, tuliambiwa kwamba
help desk itasaidia wanafunzi kupata